Right. So once again, would like to welcome you all for today's session, where we are going to be discussing about the JavaScript widgets that's available in Zoho Creator, using which you can build new UI functionalities and as well as extend your application's capabilities. And I'm Sriram from the Creator team, who is going to be your host today. So before we get started, these are certain things that we would like to notify all. So all the attendees will be on mute for the duration of the session. And you will find a questions panel on the left. And if you have any questions during the course of the session, there will be a dedicated question and answer time as well at the end of the session. But if you feel free to post your questions in the questions panel in case you have any in the course of this duration and this session. And a recording of this session will be sent to all the attendees. So no need to worry about that. We will be providing you with a recording for sure. And you will also be receiving a post session survey, a feedback survey once the session ends. I request all to just take a couple of minutes of your time to provide us your feedback, which will definitely help us in our next learning series sessions. All right. In this webinar, we're going to be looking into the third-party languages that we will be supporting in Creator, and what are the advantages of using JavaScript, and a short demonstration of how you can start creating a widget and then packing it, and also a couple of use cases demonstrations that we will be showcasing on the Creator application using these widgets, and also some more other examples which are possibilities that can be achieved using the same. So this is going to be what we will be covering in today's webinar. So let's take a step back, and when we look into the anatomy of any application, it has two areas. One is the backend, which is the processing engine of the application. And the other is the front end, which is where the user will interact with the actual application. Now, Zoho Creator does provide you with the backend essentials which is actually required to build an application, like data modeling and authorization modules, as well as workflows. And the front end being, definitely you would need a form, report, and a page to display the information that you have in your application. Okay? So Creator, it provides you the data modeler, which automatically gets configured when you go ahead and start creating your forms and then create relationships between them. And you also have the permissions module, using which you can go ahead and decide who needs to access which components and what level of access they need to have within that component as well. And also you have the workflow creator, which is going to give you the power of deluge and automate your application using the same. And on the front end, you have the form creator, report creator, and the page creator, using which you are actually building your application. And the languages that we've been using in Zoho Creator to build an application in the backend, we have been using Deluge till now, until recently. And in the front end, you can use again Deluge in the HTML in the page, as well as in HTML and ZML. You can use these to build the front end of your application. Now, we are introducing more languages to these areas, and we have actually added new language support capabilities across the board, both in the front end and in the back end. Now, let's take a look into the language that we have added in the back end to build an application, which is nothing but the JavaScript. And we are offering this new capability and the new support as categorized as widgets, right? And JavaScript is a dynamic computer programming language. It is lightweight and most commonly used as a part of web pages, whose implementation allows a client-side script to interact with the user and to make dynamic pages. And it is an interpreted programming language with object-oriented capabilities, right? And there are advantages of using JavaScript, which is it's going to give you the obvious advantage of less server interaction, because JavaScript is client-side, so it reduces the demand on the servers overall. You can validate user input before sending the page off to the server, so this saves server traffic, which means less load on your server, and simple applications also may not even need a server at all, right? And JavaScript tends to be very fast because it is often run immediately within the client's browser, so it gives you speed. And the syntax that you have for the JavaScript was inspired by Java's, and it's kind of relatively easy to learn compared to other popular languages. And it also does not require any compilation, so there's no compiler needed in order to use this. The browser interprets JavaScript as its HTML text. Okay? And also in certain situations, your users don't have to wait for a page to reload to see if they have forgotten to enter something. So it can also be used to provide immediate feedback to the users when they are on your web page. And you can create interfaces that react when the user hovers over them with a mouse or the cursor, or activates them via the keyboard. So it gives you the ability to have an increased interactivity on your actual web pages that you build. And you can use JavaScript to include items such as drag and drop components and sliders to give a rich interface to your site's visitors. And developers can definitely extend the capabilities or the functionality of their web pages by writing snippets of JavaScript for any third-party add-ons, or also using third-party add-ons. Right? So JavaScript in Zoho Creator is offered as widgets. So widgets in Zoho Creator are embeddable UI components that you can create on your own using our JS SDK, which is the JavaScript Software Development Kit. And these widgets let the developers use the power of JavaScript and design rich interactive pages using the models already defined in Creator. And they can connect to the data that you have in your Creator app, and also in, I'm sorry, and also in any third-party applications that you may be having. So all these would be possible without the need for any external infrastructure. So that means your JavaScript code will run in the same infrastructure that powers Creator. And using JavaScript in widgets, you can create a customized form with your own user interface and style according to your business requirements. And it can also help you to conform to any UI standards that you may have for your organization, or your client may post that, or for your company, right? And you can also beautify every record in a report to look elegant. So you can handcraft the UI to make sure that it captures even the finer details available in the record. And you can also take advantage of thousands of free open source JavaScript libraries that's available in public repositories like GitHub, right? And extend the application and use it in a way that you may have not imagined before. And you can create stunning reports for the data in Creator using these popular JavaScript UI libraries, which are already available, readily available in such public repositories. And the pages in Creator is going to be supporting these new JavaScript widgets. And they can be used in two ways: to take a complete control of the front-end user interface, and you can totally redesign the way how it actually displays or presents itself when the user interacts with your Creator application, or extend the capabilities of the application by adding some new components to it. Right? And we provide a tool, which is a command line tool to develop, test, and package these widgets in Creator. And there is also the Creator JS SDK, which is a software development kit, can be used to fetch and update the data in your Creator application. So as I mentioned earlier, you have the complete control to customize the user interface and get a pixel perfect interface in that same process. So you can use popular JS libraries and your imagination to extend your Creator's application's capabilities. So as you see in this illustration, we first develop an application in Creator, and then we will be using the JS SDK to communicate the data in your Creator application from the widget you develop. And then you can combine HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build the actual widget, right? And thus taking the complete control to customize the user interface. So these are all the steps that one needs to follow in order to create these widgets. So the downloading the CLI tool, which is the command line tool, I will be letting you all know where and from where you can download that tool, those who haven't tried out the widgets. And you will be creating a project, and you can proceed with developing the widget, and then you will be testing and packing it. And once it's packed, it will provide you as a zip folder, and that is one which needs to be uploaded back to Creator and is going to serve as a widget for you, right? So this is going to be a demonstration of how we're going to start creating a project and packing it and then uploading it into Creator. So this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you the information how you can create a project, and then we will be packing it, and then we will be uploading it into Creator. It's going to be a pretty simple one. There's not going to be any code involved in this demonstration, but later we will have that as well. So before that, we need to look into this article that we have here for the widgets. So this is a complete detailed article we have for the widgets capabilities available in Zoho Creator. The link for this particular article is already available in the handouts section on the left of this window that you have there. So if you click on it, you will find these link already there, right? So this is going to give you all the information you need to know before you start working with the widgets in Zoho Creator. So this is where the install CLI, where you will be downloading the command line interface from this location that we have provided, and you will need to follow these simple steps to already go ahead and install the the ZApps CLI node package. And once that's done, then it will be set up for you. All right. And we also have provided you with the basic commands which you will be using to create a project, start a server if you would like to run one, and validate and package the application, and then get the zip file created in that project folder. And we also have the JS API documentation section here. So this is going to be an important one that you will need to look into if you're going to start working on your widgets, because this is, as I mentioned during the session, this is what is going to help you to communicate with the actual widget to your Creator application, right? The data to your Creator application. So there are certain steps that you will need to follow in order to use these JavaScript SDK, and you would need to use the CDN URL in your actual file in order to ensure that this works. And the information is already provided in this article. So we will be also using one of the JS SDK tasks in today's demonstration, so that you can also see how that works out. So these are all the operations that are currently supported. And in case if any one of you have questions like what would be the limits of these JS SDK APIs that we have here, there are no limits associated with this for now, right? And so this cannot be linked to your regular API limits that you may have on your Creator application. So there are no limits for these JS SDK APIs which you will be using within your widgets. All right. So that's about the JS API documentation. And also you will have the section here where you can find out how you can add the actual widget to a Creator page, and how you can also create your first widget, which we will also be showcasing right now. And those who would like to give it a try using the sample widget, which is the zip file will be already provided to you. You can upload this to your Creator application and then find out how that works out for you, and how widget is actually allowing you to completely customize the UI and also bring in new functionality to the page. And though you can also explore the components of the zip file to see how it and understand how it has been actually built in the backend. So it's about the article. So we get to the Creator application. So this is the application that we are going to be using today in order to build the widget. And this is a simple property management application where there are a couple of information with respect to houses and villas available across the US, right? So information will be available in this report here. And our goal is to ensure that we would be having a page which is will be shared to the end users, or will be embedded in your website. So the users can search for their properties, and when they click on a specific property, it needs to display the details of that property in a more elegant manner, which you will not find by default on your creator application. So that is where we are going to be using the widgets, and we are going to be designing the widgets to achieve that. And this is another report which has a custom layout for the records display. And each of these specific record has multiple images available for the properties. So our goal will also be to include an image slider. When they click on that property, the information that gets displayed will be also these images as a slider, followed by the other information about this specific property. So that's going to be the goal today. So this is what we will going to be using in this application. So now let me go ahead and show you how we can create and package a specific widget. So for that, I'm going to be using the terminal. Right, so I have installed the required packages and the libraries already, so I'm going to go ahead and use it here. And we have this folder here, files, and which is where I'm going to be creating this project folder. So I get into the actual folder where I would like to create, and now I use the z init, which is the command in order to initiate a project. And it gives me the option to choose the Zoho service which I would like to use and create this widget for. So I choose creator, and I'm going to give in the name for the project folder. And as you can see, as soon as I hit enter, it created the folder, and all the required files is already auto created in that specific folder, which we will look in some time. So we get inside the folder that we have created, the project folder. All right. Now, when we go into this folder and into the app folder, so this widget.html is the actual file which is going to host the HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript codes, and which is going to serve as the backbone of this specific widget that we are building. Right? So this is an auto-created file. Once we created the project folder, this file will be auto-created. You can rename this file if you wish. But right now, this is a static text that's made available once it got created. Right? So now I'm going to right now pack this. First, I'll validate, and I'm going to pack this widget. Once I pack it, it says that the property.zip folder, I mean the file, is available in the distribution folder. So let me go ahead and access that. So this is that folder it refers to, and the zip file is already made available. Now let me get back to the creator application where we can go ahead and upload this. So under the settings section, we will have the widgets under developer tools, and this is where we are going to be uploading the widgets that we would like to be using within this specific application. So I hit create new widget, and I'm going to give this a name. And I choose the hosting as internal. We will be looking into the other option available for this in a while. So right now I choose internal, and I need to provide the path of the folder that we will have here, which is going to be the property.zip. So I hit open, and I given the path of that file, the HTML file, which will be available in that particular folder zip. So I hit create, and it has added the specific widget. So once this is added here, the next step is to include this in an actual page. So we already have a page created, which is the widget page, and this is where we are going to be including this widget. And as I mentioned a while back, once the property information, or once the user clicks on a specific record, we are going to be calling this page, which we are having here, and to which this particular widget is going to be included. as a pop-up, and it is going to display the details of the record. And this is going to be possible by using this parameter which we have declared within this page, PID. We will be utilizing this in our code as well, right? So this is what is going to allow us to pass the record ID as a parameter, and which is what is going to be used by our actual widget to get more information about the record and then display it as per the design that we are going to use. All right, so now I hit done. And now let me go back to the property search page. So now we have these displayed by default. When I click on it, it opens up that page. And since the HTML file right now we have doesn't have any actual code, which has just a simple text display, it is coming up here. So we can understand that how this widget has been uploaded now, and how this is actually being rendered on screen right now as a pop-up on from the page. All right, so now let me go back to the presentation. So we are going to be the first use case that we are going to be looking into is, as I mentioned, we are going to build a page, a widget using HTML, CSS, and JS. So we do already have the code readily available for us, so we will be utilizing that, and I will be explaining the code quickly, and then we will see how that actually takes effect once we upload that to the Creator application. Right? And we will be utilizing the JS SDK as well within that code to fetch the information from the actual Creator report, and then utilize that to display within that widget. So the widget HTML, which we saw, the default file that gets created, as I mentioned, it's going to act as a backbone of the page, and it is also going to allow us to look into the relevant JS libraries which we can utilize there. So there are two ways that you can utilize this. One, you can start writing all the code from scratch completely, your HTML, CSS, or the JavaScript from scratch. Or as we mentioned during this presentation, if you would like to use any existing JavaScript libraries, or if you would like to use any Bootstrap CSS, you can also go ahead and utilize them within these widgets. So if you are an expert programmer and you would like to do it from scratch, you can go ahead and do so. But if you would like to make use of an already available library, you can still do so, and which is what we will also be doing in the demonstration. And the code which we have is about Bootstrap JS. And the parameter that we displayed on that page is going to receive the record ID once the record is being clicked from that the report, right? And then the query parameter, which is going to listen for this ID, is going to be used within the JavaScript SDK, and is going to fetch all the records that we require. All right, so now let's go ahead and try looking into that. So for that, I'm going to be just using the code that we already have. So I copy that from place. Okay, that's done. So the widget is what is opened up right now here. So this is the actual code which we will be using in our demonstration. So as you can see, you can use your Bootstrap CSS, and also the JS, the actual JS code that we are using here is also a Bootstrap one. And the images, as I mentioned, there will be multiple images for a specific property. So they need to be displayed in a slider. So we have the carousel setup as well. And also the CDN library, which is required for you to utilize the JS SDK API. So if you refer the documentation, this will be the first step that you would need to use when you begin using the JS SDK. So we initiate that, and then within the then block, we will be writing our actual code. And this is the get query param. So this is going to, since the widgets are supported in creators pages, any information that you can or you will be passing to a pages parameter, this get query params method needs to be used in order to acquire that value and then utilized within your widget. So this get query params is always going to try listening for your page parameter which you may have in your creator page. And then the PID is the actual parameter that we have in that page, and the value that gets passed to it on click of a record is going to be the ID, and we use that value to form a criteria. So the report all houses and villas which we saw that houses all the records, and we will be forming the criteria part here. And this is the actual JS SDK which is going to fetch the record depending upon the ID value that gets passed, and then it's going to save the response. And that response is going to be utilized in this function set property data, and this is where that response and individual record or the field information is going to get passed into the respective HTML elements that we have within this particular widget. So that is being completely taken care in this particular section, which is the function part here, right? So the data from the response is getting passed into the respective elements in this specific section. So no need to worry, this code will also be provided to you. So you can also refer this and then utilize this for your learning purposes of widget. So we will be providing you with this code anyhow, right? So once that's done, then we get to the body part, and this is where we design or use the HTML tags in order to design how this needs to be utilized, or the design part of how the widget needs to be. So now this has been done. So let me go ahead and pack this. So it has been packed now. I go back to the creator application. So I need to upload it, the newly packaged zip. So I go to the same widget that we uploaded here. I just reselect that file and I hit update. All right. Now when we get to this page, we just refresh it. Okay. Now when I click on any record, it's going to actually utilize that, and it's gonna give us this result here on screen. So this is the actual design which we were looking to achieve, and this is what is being powered by the code that we have in that widgets.html file, right? So you can see the images that's existing for that specific property is sliding one by one, right? And you can also choose to slide to the next image or the previous image, and so that is also supported. So these are all the functionalities that is being introduced by JavaScript here. So the HTML and CSS part basically takes care of the design aspect of your widget, and the JavaScript is the one which is going to give you the power, or is going to enable you to introduce functionality or new abilities to that particular design and the data that's there within the particular file. So all the other information from the record is being mentioned here. This is where the elements that we utilized in the HTML body part. So we have the description and some additional details and the amenities that's available for a specific property. So we can also see any other property here, and that information is also going to be displayed depending upon that property that's been clicked on. And we can also search for a specific county and then find out what are all the available properties for that, and still that's going to display for that specific property that we choose. So this is what this specific code that we have here in the widget.html is powering. So we will be providing you with this code so that you can also use this for your reference before you start working with your widget. And this is going to be your first time. All right. So coming back to the next part, which is external hosting of widgets. So we have introduced a capability very recently. So the power users of these widgets, this might be new for you all. So this hosting method of external, it allows you to provide an external file path to your widget, And this widget can be hosted in your local computer or an external server, and then the path alone can be provided in the actual creators widget section. So this can be used in ways like, say that you are having your own server, your own Node.js servers running, and if you like to have your widget placed there but utilize the same within creators page, then you can go ahead and just provide that path and use the path, and then to actually get the widget invoked into the creator page. And the other way is like when you are hosting it in your computer, in your local computer, it provides an ideal way to test your output in real time, which I will be showcasing in a while, without having to pack and upload every time that you make a change. So let's see how we can do that. So we have this code already here. So we have this command of say run. So once I do that, it's going to start running a local server with this address. So I need to just get to the browser and choose the widget. And right now, since the server is running, it's trying to think about it. But since we have not provided an ID to it, which is an actual the first information that it needs in order for the entire widget part to function properly, which is not provided since this is a locally run instance. So now I copy this URL, go back to the widget section that we have here. I click on edit to the earlier widget that we uploaded, and under the hosting section, I choose the option as external, and then I provide this path here. All right, and I hit update. Okay, now it has updated itself. So now I can go back to the same. So just to check how this is working in the live interface, since we passed the parameter here, let me click on this. So now it is working properly in the actual live interface. Right? So any properties, it is still working. So now let me go back to the actual code, and I'm gonna try performing a change. So I'm going to actually remove this specific JS SDK code, which is going to fetch all the records. So it's using the get all records API here. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to save the file, the HTML file, right? And now let me go back to the application, and when I refresh it, and when I click on any property, it's still going to think about it. That's because, again, that SDK is the one which is going to fetch the required data, and I have removed that integral part of that specific widget, right? And I did not pack the widget, and I did not upload the zip file back into creator. It was just a change I made to that file. I just saved the changes to that file alone, and immediately I got back into the creator application, and then when I'm able to see what are all the changes that I've made and what are all the effect that it is taking. So this can be used to readily check the changes that you would like to make to your existing widgets on your creator, or as you build, how we would like to go ahead and view them. So this is one way of using this external hosting capability, which has been newly introduced to these widgets. And the other way, as I mentioned earlier, you can host your own widget in your external server, and you can just use that path under the section. Instead of that local path that I pasted, you can paste your actual server's connection path, and that will work. So now let me go back to the code, and let me save this again. I'll put back the code that we removed earlier. I'm saving it. Close this. I refresh the page. Let me try searching for any other property. So now when I click on that, you can see that it comes up properly right now because we have pasted that code back. So this can also be used to make several other changes, say within the HTML part. So here we have the general amenities section. So the amenities right now is not placed within the strong tag, right? So as a result, it gives us on screen like this. So let me go ahead and make a change. I'll go ahead and paste this within here, and I'll save this changes again. And when I get back to the creator application and I click on any property, can see here it has taken effect. So any not only the JS part that you can try and use this, anything that you like to change in your, any modification that you can make in, or you like to make in your widget, can be immediately checked by using this local server that is running, right? So I have made some changes to this part. So let me go ahead and run this. So I'm going to now end the server that I'm running. All right, and as soon as I stop the server, it's not going to be working with the actual widget there, because the widget setup right now only has the external path set up there. So I'll pack this widget again, right? And I'll go back to creator, to the section. I'll edit the widget, I change it back to the internal hosting, and I'll provide the path for the zip again that got packaged, and the path for the index file. I hit update. Right. So now I am hosting the actual widget on creator itself. I've uploaded the zip file. Now let me just quickly refresh this page. So go back to the property search, and when I click on any record, it's going to properly display the widget and render the information for that specific record, right? So that's how we utilize the external hosting capabilities that have been introduced in widgets in two ways. One, to locally check the changes that you are making to your widget, and another one, you can host your widget externally in any other server and then provide the path just alone with that widget section and set it up that way. All right. So with that, we come to an end of the first demonstration, and so now let me get into the second part of the demonstration, where we would be utilizing the Zoho Desks ASAP web widget, which is one of an add-on that's been provided within Zoho Desk and can be utilized in any external web pages to kind of bring in their in-app customer support, as well as community and knowledge-based services to any of the pages that it is being embedded on, or right. And right now we're going to be using that same thing into the same page that we built right now, and we're going to be bringing in the knowledge base. Say that when a customer is visiting that specific page looking to buy a specific property, they may have some questions with respect to buying it. So we think that it'd be better, a little better, if they could immediately click on a particular option in order to learn more about how property buying, or in other words, a guide for home buying, right? So that's what we're going to be using in this particular demonstration. So let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So I go into desk, right? And here we have the knowledge base, right, which is where we have the articles with respect to home buying. So we have a couple of articles here mentioned. So we're going to be trying to present these articles to the user as frequently asked questions under the category of that. And then the user can make use of this while they are viewing a property in that widget which we are using in our page. So for that, let's go to the setup. I go to the ASAP widget section. You can go ahead and create any add-ons as you need. So we have created for the frequently asked questions section, and here is where they provide the JavaScript snippet. So we can copy this, and we are going to be utilizing this within our existing code. So I'm going to be pasting the code that we copied from there into here. I'm saving the changes, right? So once the changes are saved, I need to pack this again. Since we are hosting this into Creator, I need to pack and upload the zip file again in order to for the changes to take effect. So let's get to the Creator part. I edit this. I hit browse. I choose the zip file. I hit open, and I hit update. All right. So now this has been updated. The latest widget has been updated. Now let me refresh the actual page that we will be utilizing this on. And when I click on any property, the widget is going to display the information about that specific property. And this is what we will be getting here on the right bottom corner, which is what that we newly introduced within our existing code, which is nothing but the snippet that we copied from the Zoho Desks ASAP web widget add-on. So I hit this, but I do not see any information displayed here. It says some sort of an error that's coming up. So this is where we get to the next part of our session, which is nothing but the whitelisting of URLs. So whitelisting is the process by which you specify a list of external URLs that the widget can access apart from your default creator applications, right? So by default, these widgets that you are creating here and utilizing within the Zoho Creators pages are authorized to access any creator URL, right? But anything other than that, any external that URL that you would like to utilize or services that you would like to bring in to your widget here, you will need to whitelist their domain in order for the widgets to enable communication from that service to your actual widget and in turn with your creator application, right? So this basically allows you to use any third-party services in your widget that you have in your creator application. And since this is Zoho Desk, though it is Zoho, it is still external to Zoho Creator, so we need to perform this operation of whitelisting. And this is also readily available in our article here as a separate section, whitelisting of URLs, and this link is also available in the handout section too, right? So the file that we need to update this would be this, and I will showcase this as well. So this will be available in your project folder, and we need to update that file with the domains that we have here. So I'm going to be using the same example in the sample that we have here because that will be applicable for us in this demonstration. But in reality, any third-party services that you would like to use or you would like to whitelist, that domain needs to be set up here. Right? So I've copied this specific set of domains here. Now I get back to the project folder. Right, so this is the file that we have here, which we need to edit. As you can see here, the preview, it doesn't have any domains whitelisted there. So let me go ahead and paste the information. I copy it from the help article. I save this changes. And once it's saved, I go ahead and pack the widget again. It has been successfully packed now. So now go back to Creator and we need to upload this file once again for the changes to take effect. So given property.zip file and update. Okay, it has been updated. So we can go back to the widget. Let me refresh this page. And let me click on search something. Choose this. And the widget displays the default actions that it needs to, as we've been seeing since the start of this session. But now let me click on this and you can see now it is working as we have whitelisted the URLs, and it is allowing us access to that specific knowledge base that we have within the Zoho Desks particular portal. So the user can click on any article and they can go ahead and read it, and they can provide their feedback as well for it. So that is something by default that's been allowed in Zoho Desk. So if we choose any option here, that is going to actually take effect in the knowledge base section. So when you go in there, that's going to be recorded within these metrics that's been set up here. So depending upon the likes and the views that it gets, right? So that's how we utilize the ASAP widget on the Zoho Creators widget. That's extending the capability. So right now, this is just a knowledge base that is being displayed. This can actually be also replaced with a Sales IQ in case you're using a Zoho Sales IQ service. You can also replace this with an actual chat widget. So once they click on it, you can initiate a chat, and uh, customers who would like to buy a property or who would like to check on certain information, they can immediately connect with your sales team, and then will be able to take a decision on purchasing that property, right? And it can also be any other third party snippet as well, but then you would need to whitelist that URLs and then utilize it as it's external to Zoho Creator. So that's how we utilize this in order to extend the capability of your actual Creator application, which is not by default available within Creator, and at the same time integrating it with another service. So there are other examples which I would also wanted to showcase here. So right now we have a GIF image here, which is displaying a customized form, right? So unlike the regular creator form where you see the fields displayed one beside the other, one below the other. So this is going to be a completely revamping of your forms UI. So each field is being presented, the way how it's presented is being completely customized. And once the user enters all the information, it's been recorded, and then it gives a preview of that actual information. And once they submit it, it's going to go ahead and get recorded in. This is also a possibility which you can achieve by using these widgets, the support that has been brought into the creators pages. And this is actually a screenshot of a Gantt chart. So those who have been using Creator for a very long time would be aware that you do not have the capability of Gantt chart within the reporting modules of Creator, right? So by using these widgets, you can use any library, publicly available third-party library that gives you the ability to create a Gantt chart. And then you can overcome the limitation that you have in your creator, and thus extending the capabilities of your application. So right now here on this screenshot is a Gantt chart, which is by default not available in creator, but has been achieved by using a widget. So this is something that's also achievable utilizing the JavaScript capability. So with that, we come to an end of today's webinar. So I hope it was helpful for all. So we get into the question and answer time right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them and we'll be glad to take them up. So I see there were a lot of questions posted already, and our co-trainer has been answering it. And while you go ahead and post your questions in this time, let me also tell you an information about these widgets. So these widgets, the particular functionality is available on Creator for premium edition and above, which is the subscription plan I'm talking about. So it will be available for those customers who are in the premium edition and above. And in case you do not find this being in the right subscription, or you would like to try this out, feel free to contact our support team, and they'll be more than happy to help you in getting these set up, right? And as I mentioned earlier, there is no limits for these widgets as well, and also there are no limit for the number of widgets that you can upload to your creator application as well. So there is no limitation on that too as of now. So you can upload as many widgets to your creator application and use them in as many pages that you want in your app. So I do have a question from Ronnie, can you please show how the property ID is sent from the Zoho Creators page link? The property ID is, let me go back to the code. So this getQueryParams method is going to keep listening to the page parameter. So any parameter that's available in the page, this getQueryParam method is going to allow you to get that value, and then you need to just utilize that within your actual code. The way how we are passing the record ID to it, maybe I can show you all that, which is nothing but a custom report workflow. So it's a pretty simple open URL task, and we just call the page where we will be uploading that widget to. And then to that parameter, we will be passing the records ID, and we'll specify the method of how it needs to be displayed. So this is how we are actually calling the page as a pop-up. And once the ID is being passed to this parameter, and once the page is called, immediately it triggers the widget, and the getQueryParams is going to keep listening for the value that might be existing in this parameter, and the ID, once it receives it, gets through the JS SDK API, it fetches all the records, and then it passes it through the function that gets all the responses assigned to the respective elements, the HTML elements that is created. So that's how the widget is actually powering in the backend. So I hope I was able to answer that. So we have a question from Glenn. Do you have a web page that shows more examples of widgets being used? Unfortunately, sorry, Glenn. I wish we do have a page, but this has been a newly introduced functionality and it's still evolving. So we do have plans of bringing in already readily available widgets for you. So it's under the pipeline. So you may expect this to be available in Creator in the near future. But right now, we do not have that. Yeah, sorry. But thank you for your question. Are the sample widgets and Creator app available for download? Yes, Robert, we will be providing you with the code along with the recording that you will be receiving as well, right? So no need to worry about it. I have a question from Michael. Are there widgets to edit and update Creator records? Uh, we do not have any readily available widgets in order to perform that operation, but instead of the get all records API that we utilize, the JS SDK API, you can go ahead and use the update record API in that place to push information to that. So it's going to be the same method the flow of how you need to use it is going to remain the same, like how we showcased. It's just that you need to use the API and then pass the relevant information into it. And if you would like to know more about these, as I mentioned in the article, you do have the sample widget available already. That sample widget is actually gonna show you and try out all the tasks that you have in the JS SDK. So if we go into this section, the sample widget. So this zip file is gonna actually give you such a UI, and you would be able to try out all these. So these again will be available within the HTML file that you will find within that zip folder. So you can also refer there to understand how you can utilize edit record capability or update record capability of using these JS SDK. So please refer to the sample widget in order to understand how we can actually make use of these other JS SDK APIs that we have here. Hope I was able to answer that. I have a question from Mark. Can you add widgets to other Zoho applications like books or CRM? Uh, so initially, when we were creating this project folder, there were some services that are were listed. The Zoho CRM is one where you can create a widget on, but you cannot create that widget within Creator and then utilize that now in the other services. It's not set up or designed in that way, as each application is specific. So you will find CRM, and there are other services also looking to utilize these widgets in their services as well. So you will see more services getting added once you trying to start creating a project. So you can expect it. So right now CRM is there. So books, I need to check it out. But once you try to create a project, it will be made aware to you whether that service is listed or not. So we can be live for the next couple of minutes for more questions. So let's stay online. I have a question from Jayesh. Are you planning to include the widget in other components as well, like record summary or forms? Uh, so since this is the first support that we are bringing in to Creator, we brought this into the pages. In future, depending upon like the adaptability and how many customers are looking to use and the use cases that we receive, we will be definitely considering the possibility of introducing it into other components as well, which you can utilize, like forms, reports, or any other location within the Creator which you can use the widget on. So we do have plans and we are open for such possibilities. So you may expect in near future the such support. I have a question from David, a general one. So how hard is it for a JS developer without Zoho experience to develop a JavaScript module for Zoho? Uh, so you mentioned that you are a JS developer, so you would be made aware of all the other itty-bitty nuances of how the actual language functions. And each of the servers of Zoho is designed and utilized for a specific purpose, right? And it's going to take some time for you to know about that specific service and what it is actually offering and what it on which you can actually utilize using your JavaScript knowledge to bring about more power to that specific service. It's not hard. So since you're already a developer, you would be easily able to grasp the concepts that we have in any individual Zoho service on the functionality that it has to offer. And then developing part, that depends upon the actual developer. There is uh, no metric that can be assigned to it, but it's not going to be that difficult. So it's going to be not very simple as well. But for someone who knows what they are working on, it's going to be pretty easily achievable for them. So I did see a question whether you can reach out to support if you're finding any difficulties with using these widgets. Definitely, our support team is there to help you out when you're trying to create your widget, and if you're experiencing any issues in installing or creating the actual widget using the CLI tool or uploading it back into Creator. And if you're having any technical queries with respect to the whitelisting, yes, definitely our team will be able to help you. But if you're looking to support to build it from scratch, that's something that might not be possible to do. But if you're just stuck in a specific instance while creating that widget, we can definitely step in and try to help you out in order to overcome that and then proceed with your widget creation process. Question from Ronnie. Please explain how you invoke the open URL task from the report. Okay, I guess I can showcase that. So once I go to the edit mode of the application, so it's this specific report here, which is what we are utilizing in our all properties. So this is the custom layout which we have used in order to showcase the records in that way. But when you go into the actions section here, we have the workflow set up, the report workflow. This open property. So that's what is actually using the open URL that I showcased earlier, the show property one. So under the actions, you will be able to invoke a report workflow, which is otherwise known as also a custom action workflow. And then you can call the actual widget. I have a question from Muhammad. Can we embed a widget in a report now? So in new list of properties, can we change each panel to a widget? As I was explaining a while back, we currently do not have the capability of using a widget directly into a report or a form or any other component. The only component that where you can utilize that is a creator page. All right. So in the example, what we do is, if you would like to go ahead and embed a widget in a report, you can provide such a button, or on click of a specific record, you can call a custom workflow and then just use an open URL task like how we have utilized, and then open the page where the widget has been hosted, right? So that's the only way of utilizing the widgets as of now. In future, you may expect, depending upon the way how the widget expands, we might be able to bring in possibilities of utilizing in the other Zoho components. Hope I was able to answer your question. All right, so with that, I guess we can officially end the question session. And I would like to take this opportunity to inform you all about some upcoming sessions as well. So we have another session with respect to the community learning series. So we have a session on integrating Zoho Creator with Zoho People and how you can achieve that on 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the October 27th. So if you'd like to register that, you can please feel free to do so by zoho.to/creator-learning. And we also have another session on application modernization, which is part of the creators reach out. So you can attend that session and you can register yourself at zoho.to/app-modernization, and that will be hosted on October the 28th, 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So please make use of these sessions to learn more about what Zoho Creator has to offer you. And those who are extremely new to Zoho Creator and haven't utilized it till now and who are among us today, please feel free to try out Creator totally free of cost. You can just log in to zoho.com/creator and then sign up for a free edition account and then try creating your application from scratch with the various forms and reports. And I'm sure that it will definitely be helpful for you. So once again, I would like to thank you all for your participation in today's webinar and for your engaging questions, which kept us going. And in case you need any assistance at any time in part of any widget or even in any section of your Creator application, feel free to contact our support team at support@zohocreator.com. And if you are extremely new to Creator and you would like to try it out and then look into the possibilities, feel free to contact our pre-sales at pre-sales@zohocreator.com. So once again, thank you all, and it's been a wonderful experience in hosting this particular webinar for you all on JavaScript